Okay, I'm gonna do a heart to Hana. Can I show you a juxtaposition? I can eat hot Cheetos because I'm eating a salad, okay? Let's put on a little lipstick even though I'm gonna eat for the video. First question is, did you ever find yourself attracted to others while in a long-term relationship? Physically, yeah. I find people attractive. Like, I definitely see people and think, wow, they're really hot. And sometimes I feel like I'm attracted to certain personality traits or things about, like, other people. I'm not, like, attracted to them. I want to be in a relationship or I want to try dating you kind of thing. I guess I would say I'm attracted to, like, certain things about people, but it's not, like, an attraction. And you know what? Like, honestly, I love Jimmy so much that besides Captain Levi, he's, like, really the only man that I really think about, that I, like, am attracted to physically, emotionally, and I just love him so much. How do you manage finances between you and Jimmy as a married couple? I feel like this question is really different. Like, there's no right answer, right? I feel like it's different for a lot of couples, but I feel like, I mean, it's different because every couple has a different money situation. Personally, I don't really ever want to go into detail about this online because I feel like the online discourse about couples and their finances is very heavily debated and it gets quite heated and people can get kind of mean. And I've already kind of received like some comments that were like, basically saying like, you know, I don't do anything and like Jimmy just spends all his money and blah, blah, blah. And so what if he does spend all his money on me? I'm his wife. But all I will say is me and him have been together for a long time and had a very long talk, many talks about how we view money and how we'd like to use money separately and together. And we agree on it. And I cannot help if my husband wants to spoil me, his wife. Next question is, planning on breaking up with my boyfriend of 5 years. Sad. Because I have feelings for someone else. I can't hurt him anymore and myself in this whole process. I want to let myself feel this change and see what the future holds. I want your opinion on this, Hannah, please. My opinion? I mean, I think you're doing the right thing. Like, obviously it sucks to hurt them, but you don't want to hurt somebody that you love or loved because obviously you still care. But in the long run, you would be hurting them more by staying and being attracted and wanting to try to have a relationship with someone else and hurting yourself, obviously. So, I mean, I definitely think you're doing the right thing, as sucky of a situation as it is. So, I mean, what can you do, you know? Hey, Hannah. Here's a long heart to Hannah question. I have a good friend that I've been friends with for 10 years. Over the last couple years, I feel like our friendship has been pretty stagnant. Like, fun hanging out, but we haven't been growing in terms of vulnerability and honesty. Recently, I found out she was lying to me about being in contact with an ex, and not the first time she's lied either. They had a really toxic long-term relationship. I supported her through the breakups and told her that she could do so much better. I'm tired of only knowing the truth when I have to comfort her. It feels like she's choosing her ex's words over my 10-year friendship. It feels like she's choosing her ex's words and my 10-year friendship is not as important. What would you do? Honestly, I kind of had like a similar situation. I don't think it was as extreme. But I guess like in my experience, I definitely feel you heavy on the supporting them, telling them that they could do better, and then them kind of like not listening and then you kind of having to hear the same story like over and over again. I will say that in my case, like looking back, because we're still friends now, her and that guy broke up too, but I feel like just having more empathy for somebody while also setting like clear boundaries for the relationship is something I would have done earlier. I'm okay with my friends venting to me or, you know, wanting to talk about their issues in life with me. I think that's what not what friendships are for, but I think that's a part of being a friend, is like being supportive. But it is really hard to give someone so much energy through advice, and then kind of watching them make the same mistakes over and over again. And I think overall, I was upset with her because I was kind of like, I don't really want to keep talking about this if you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and be with that person and
put yourself in the same situations and circumstances and then come running to me. It's just, to be frank, it was like exhausting for me and frustrating. And looking back, like, I feel like I had this empathy at the end. And so I changed my way of supporting her, but sometimes people really just can't see a situation until they like really see it for themselves. No matter how many people around them tell them the situation, it has to be a very personal experience to get them out of it. And it doesn't mean that that other person doesn't care about you. It's just life, right? Like they're just going through something in life. And later on, I was kind of just like, look, I will support you and be here for you no matter what. But whenever we talk about relationship issues, like I need it to be in a way where I like don't have to give you advice, or like if you're just venting to me, that's totally fine. I just don't want to give a lot of energy to a situation I know that you will repeat or not even like use my advice. You know what I mean? And anyways, I'm saying empathize because 10 years is a really long time to be friends with somebody, and I'm sure your friend is going through something difficult as well because of this toxic relationship. So I guess what I would do personally, if I could like go back with my own experience, is just have the conversation earlier about wanting to definitely always going to be there for them if they really needed it, but like there has to be some kind of understanding that if you're going to vent to me, it has to be just venting. Like if you really want my advice, I will give it to you. I'll give you my opinion. But if you don't, I will sit here and I will listen to you and I will be the you go girl kind of friend. And my friend really understood that perspective. And so like it worked out for us. And now from this experience, I'm always just trying to make sure that I'm like a quick emotional person. Like I feel things on the fly. And now I'm trying really hard to make sure that I'm still empathizing with people and trying to empathize and then make a decision on how I should feel or like what I should do instead of just being mad at them. And maybe you've already done that. Like, obviously, I don't have the full context from this one paragraph, but that's just how I feel. So maybe if you just talk to her and make her understand that this is like not an attack on her, it's like genuinely coming from a place of concern for her and for your friendship, like that could help. But also, if you feel like she doesn't value you anymore and your friendship anymore, then I think it's okay for you to like back off a little. And yeah, I don't really know what to say. I feel like this kind of stuff's really hard, you know? What do you do to not lose interest in life? Life is like made up of so many things, and it's so easy to just look at your life as a whole and think that your life is like boring. Oh my gosh, I really hate the taste of leaves. But I do think that for me personally, this is what I would do. I don't think this would work for everybody, but this is just for me. I look at different little things that compose my life, and then those little happy things that compose my life, and I just feel like so grateful for them, and it kind of just like makes me happy. So for example, sometimes I have to wake up at 6 because Jimmy has to like be at work at a certain time. But anyways, we have to wake up at 6 to do like family walks during like weekdays. And I mean, 6 is not that early for some people, but it feels early to us, okay? So we wake up and then we go take the dogs for a walk. And I always think, oh, it's so cold outside. Like I'm so sleepy. And then I'm like, I actually really, really enjoy those walks together because we just talk and like catch up, and it's so quiet in the park. There's like really no one there, and the dogs can like really sniff and enjoy themselves with us. And like just like those little moments, I feel like make up a lot of life. And I think about those and I'm like so grateful, and it makes me more interested in, and also like picking up new hobbies or interests. Right now I'm trying to learn sign language. It's just something that I have always kind of been interested in, but I didn't really start to try anything until now because I found this app that will like help you learn. Anyways, so that kind of makes life a little bit more interesting when you try new things. So yeah, I mean, that's how I would do it, or how I do it, but maybe it doesn't work for everybody. But Boyfriend doesn't know if he wants to get married, but been together for 6 years. Am I wasting time? Okay, so I think that for this one, it's kind of hard to answer because maybe this is a hot take, but if you're really young, like early 20s or even mid 20s, it's understandable for you to not know if you'd want to get married because that's like such a like that's a forever commitment to somebody. It's understandable, but if you have a timeline for yourself, because you said wasting time, if you have a timeline for yourself and them being unsure after 6 years is like gonna put a little dent in your timeline, like you're not gonna want to wait for another few years for them to know, then I think you need to make sure that you're with somebody who will want the same things that you want at the time that you want it. If it's that important to you. What's your perspective on social expectations to achieve certain milestones? Oh, I actually talked about this in the last Heart to Hannah, kind of, is that like, I think that it's really hard because obviously I can sit here and say, don't care what anybody else thinks, don't look at what everyone else is doing, like focus on you. And obviously I want to do that. But it's really hard because we are just surrounded by YouTube, Instagram, like social media, you know, and everybody is just sharing all these great achievements that they've done. It's hard to not think that that is like where you're supposed to be when it seems like everybody else is at that point. When in reality, there are so many freaking people on this earth, like they are not all at the same place at the same time in life. These social expectations have garnered strength through social media, and you do not have to be where everybody else is. And to be honest, I fall victim to this as well. Like I see other people online who are more successful than me career-wise. I don't want to talk about it too much, but like achieving like life things that maybe I feel like maybe I should be as well. And I don't really know why I'm not. Like I do have those thoughts, and it's really hard because you kind of like beat yourself up for it, and it makes you have a negative outlook on yourself. And as much as I can sit here and say, you know, don't think like that, it's really hard not to. I think that's why a lot of my friends actually don't download or have deleted TikTok and Instagram and stuff, because it can be quite toxic in that way, I think. But yeah, that's my perception on social expectations. Like sometimes I think it's good to have not competition, but like goals, but I don't think it should be such a heavy, burdenous, I don't know if that's a word, expectation on one's soul to feel like that they have to be at certain places in life because everybody else is, or everybody else has made it that way. I don't know if this is making any sense. I said in my last video that I feel like resonated with a lot of you guys. It's like, just because there is a young 20-something who is online living this really glamorous lifestyle, it does not mean that that is where you're supposed to be and that is like what you have to achieve. I think that's a really hard thing for maybe especially younger people who are in their 20s. I feel like I'm in my 30s, so I'm dealing with these kinds of thoughts a lot better. But I feel like when you're younger, you see everybody kind of climbing up or already being at what you think is the top. And that's just not a reality for a lot of people. And that's okay. You will have different struggles than other people, and that is fine. And you will reach different places in life at different times than other people, and that is fine. And I think that's like a hard reality to accept, but I feel like that's just like life, you know, and life is hard to accept, I guess. Anyways, I think that is going to be the end of this Heart to Hannah. I hope you guys enjoyed. And just a reminder, I am one tiny voice in this universe. I am wrong a lot. So these are just like my opinions and thoughts that maybe you're like interested in, but doesn't mean that you have to like listen to everything that I say or think that it's right. I just like to make that clarification. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.